Hey everyone, what's going on? Today I figured I would bring you a video just kind of showcasing my opinions on Resident Evil Village, let you know what I like, what I dislike, and finally get some of the things I want to say off my chest because I do have some rather strong opinions about certain things in this game. And we'll just go ahead and start off with the fact that this game released in a terrible, terrible state on PC. For the first month that this game existed on Steam, I had nothing but issues running the game. Terrible stuttering, terrible frame drops. I mean, I couldn't even get through a single playthrough on any of my 80 hours played in that first month without dropping frames to 10 FPS regularly and dealing with terrible other issues such as just glitches and overall poor stability. Um, and we found out, of course, not soon after, or sorry, not long after this game came out, that it was thanks to the Denuvo anti-tamper. So, Capcom, I don't know what you were thinking. Thank you for patching the game, but it was unacceptable for you to release it in that state, and I've always resented this game ever since, and Capcom as a company because of it. So I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way because that has a lot to do with my negative disposition towards this game. But other than that, I just didn't really like what they did with Chris Redfield as a character. I thought that Chris Redfield was built up so well at the end of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and I was so totally looking forward to what they were going to do with his character, but they kind of turned him into a jerk. They made his motivations make very little sense to me, and he just acted in a way throughout this entire game that I did not quite understand. He's basically a piece of crap to Ethan throughout the entire game. He doesn't help him. He hides everything from him, puts him in this terrible position, this terrible situation, and then he justifies his behaviors near the end of the game with one line of dialogue where he says that he didn't know if he could trust Ethan. He didn't know it could have been Mother Miranda, so he couldn't take that risk. Well, I have many reasons for thinking that he probably did know that it was Ethan, or he could have at least I don't know, came to that conclusion through simple processing of information in his little brain, but they didn't. They decided to make Chris Redfield a jerk, and I'm very, very disappointed in his arc as a character from 7 to 8. Capcom, I don't know why you had to do this, but otherwise, the gameplay is great. The gunplay is very, very fun. I think that picking up the guns as you play the game and the lichens bobbing and weaving between your bullets as you try to shoot them in the face and pop their heads and all of the other enemies that you fight, such as the Terminators near the end or some of the boss fights, they are all designed in such a way that does not just give you like this, how do I put it? It doesn't like feed you the combat experience, if that makes sense. You have to work to kill the enemies in this game. Okay, they do an excellent job with rewarding you for aiming properly. Now, to be totally honest, Capcom has aim assist enabled out of the box on controller and mouse and keyboard. Turn that crap off. You don't need that on mouse and keyboard. I can understand it more on controller, but even then, I think RE2 and 3 Remake on standard and hardcore difficulties had aim assist disabled on controller, so I think you could definitely play this game without it. I think that it heightens the stress inducing from the combat, the induction of that, the pit and the feeling in the pit of your stomach where you know something's not going to go right, and you're in that challenging experience with those lichens or some of those other enemies. I really, really think that aim assist being on, especially on mouse and keyboard, is just kind of a travesty. I recommend turning it off, and when you're in these fights with some of these lichens, some of these other enemies, try going for headshots. I guarantee you're going to have a great time. And of course, graphically, the game is visually very pretty. I think the art style for some of the locations is mind-bogglingly good. I love the inner castle, Castle Dimitrescu. I think they did an excellent job. I know it's modeled after some real places, in real life, that thing that we live in. And some of the other areas are also really good. I think that the baby, what do you the big everybody loved it, thought it was terrific, super scary baby section of the game when you're in Donna Benviento's house. I personally thought that was silly. I didn't think it was scary. I think what they do in Donna Benviento's house in the DLC is much more scary. So I'll just leave it at that. The baby's kind of silly, but hey, the fish guy, Moreau, I really enjoyed his boss section. I like how he chases after you have to run away from him. And Heisenberg was an excellent character that I think they kind of ruined. They kind of just turned him into this gigantic transformer near the end of the game, and that's it. kill him, he dies. But I think he had the potential to be a really, really cool character. And then, of course, you fight Mother Miranda. Her entire reason for putting you through everything that you go through in this game, such as wanting to steal your daughter. I think, Mother Miranda and Chris are two peas in a pod. But she was trying to basically use Rose as a vessel to bring her daughter back to life. I think her daughter died in the early 1900s due to the Spanish flu, and Mother Miranda has been on a mission ever since to bring her daughter back to life. And that's the entire reason why she's done all of this. She's got an interesting boss fight. I think her voice acting is excellent. And she's a pretty cool looking villain, but she is a little throwaway-ish. She's not necessarily that memorable. None of the characters in this game, in my opinion, even come close to being as memorable as the Baker family and Evelyn and RE7. Maybe Heisenberg does, in my opinion, but everyone else is just kind of one note, and they're there for a specific reason. I mean, come on, Lady Dimitrescu had the potential to be a really cool character and a good stalker character, but they made her AI incredibly stupid, and she was just basically put in the game to be simped on, I feel like, by the fan base. I think that the woman that did her voice acting is an excellent talent. She should be put in more games. She definitely deserved the Game of the Year award that she got for Resident Evil Village, so bravo to her. Lady Dimitrescu definitely has the best voice performance in probably any of the Resident Evil games, just top tier. And with that being said, we'll talk about the DLC really quickly. I think the third person mode and the Mercenaries additions should have been free DLC. They weren't. They basically packaged those in with a story DLC, the Shadows of Rose DLC, and I personally think that the Shadows of Rose DLC is like a $10 buy at best. I think that it does tie up some loose ends left at the end of Resident Evil Village's story, and I like the conclusions that we reach, and I like seeing what happens to certain characters such as Ethan, Evelyn, Mother Miranda, and then, of course, Rose. And yeah, I think that that's fine. The story DLC's fine. I don't like how it starts off necessarily. It starts off really slow. It's kind of overly difficult, but it turns into something that I really enjoyed. And there's this really excellent section near the middle of the DLC, middle closer to the end, where you're running through Donna Benvenuto's house and you're being chased by the mannequin that looks like Mia from Resident Evil 8's main campaign. And it's just very well done. I won't say anything else about it. Just play it. I think you'll really enjoy it. So, what do I think about the game? Do I think you should spend $60 on it? Do I think that it's worth $40? Well, here's what I have to say. I think that if you could find Resident Evil 8's main campaign for about $30 on sale, I would definitely recommend getting it. And if you want the story DLC, you have to pay $20 for it unless it goes on discount. But even if you got the game on discount and then paid $20 for the DLC, you would still be paying less than full price for just the main campaign. So I would definitely recommend until the base game goes on sale. That way you can get it and the DLC for less money than the main game cost at full price. And with that being said, it has been your friend N0Viewers. Be sure to leave a like, turn on notifications after you hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all very soon.